Welcome back to the lecture series of function of complex variable. So in the previous lecture I have discussed what do you mean by the differentiability of a function at a particular point and how we can verify whether a given function is differentiable or not with the help of that definition, and what are the different properties of a differentiable function, and I have solved some problems. So today I am going to discuss one important property or one important aspect of the complex valued function, that is called as the analytic function. So whenever we have discussed the differentiability of a complex valued function, or whenever we have discussed earlier the differentiability of a real valued function, we were concerned about the differentiability of that function at a particular point. So if if a domain or if a set is given to us where we need to verify whether it is differentiable at each and every point, then to say that the function is differentiable at each and every point of that set, we need to verify whether the function is differentiable at each and every individual point separately. So there is no scope in the case of the differentiability whenever we have studied for the real function to verify whether a given function is differentiable in a particular set or in a particular region without checking the differentiability of that function at each and every point. But here for the function of complex variable, there is a scope to verify whether a given function is differentiable in a particular domain or in a particular set without checking its differentiability at each and every individual point. So that kind of concept is called as the analyticity, or this kind of function is called as the analytic function. So that is a broader concept compared to the differentiability of a particular function at a single point. So whenever we have discussed the differentiability of fz, we have discussed the differentiability of fz at a point z0. But here, in order to define the analyticity of a function, or whenever we will say that the fz is differentiable at the point z equals to z0, this is not only defining the differentiability of the function fz at the point z0, but this is providing us the idea about the differentiability of fz in a neighborhood of the point z0. You know the meaning of the neighborhood, we have discussed it earlier. What is the neighborhood of the point z equals to z0? So if I consider z equals to z0 as a point, and we keep it in the center and construct a circular domain or circular region around that point by fixing a certain radius, then all the points which are inside that circle will be called in the neighborhood of the point z equals to z0. So fz is said to be analytic at a point z equals to z0. That indicates that the fz will be differentiable at each and every point around the point z equals to z0 inside that neighborhood. So that means it is a broader concept compared to the differentiability, because it is providing us the assurance of the differentiability of that function in more than one point in a particular domain or in a particular neighborhood around the point z equals to z0. So this is a very useful concept to characterize the function by virtue of its differentiability. So the function is analytic in a domain D. That implies that the function is differentiable at each and every point of D. So another term of analytic in D is holomorphic in D. So instead of analyticity, we can use the term holomorphic in D. Holomorphic in D means it is analytic in D. So if I say that the function is analytic at a particular point, that implies that so the function is analytic or function is differentiable at all the points in a neighborhood of the point z equals to z0. So if I say that the function is analytic in a domain D, so that is more broader concept compared to the analyticity at a particular point. Because if the function fz is analytic in a domain D, that implies that the function is analytic at each and every point in that domain. That means if we choose any arbitrary point in that domain, so corresponding to that point we can define a neighborhood where the function is differentiable in that neighborhood. So similarly, corresponding to each and every point in the domain, we can construct a neighborhood around that point where at each of the point of this neighborhood the function is differentiable. So the analyticity at a point means only at around the neighborhood of that point the function is differentiable. But the analyticity in a domain means for each and every point we can construct a neighborhood, and in all these neighborhoods the function is differentiable. That if a function is analytic, so just we are increasing that we are considering the analyticity of the function in a particular point, then we are considering the analyticity of the function in a domain, then we are considering the analyticity of the function in the entire complex domain. So if the function is analytic in the entire complex plane, then the function is called as the entire function. Then a point z0 where the function is not analytic is called as is termed as the singular point. Then one important theorem is there, or one important equation is there through which we can verify the analyticity of a function. So fz equals to say w, that is u plus iv, and the independent variable z equals to x plus iy. So you know the partial differentiation you have studied in second semester. You have studied in first semester. So since this is a function of two variables, so we won't be able to measure the ordinary differentiability. We need to measure the partial differentiability. So if there is only one dependent variable and two independent variables, then we know that there will be two first order partial derivatives. Say z equals to fxy. So if z equals to fxy, then how many variables are there? One dependent z, two independent x and y. So there will be two partial derivatives, del z del x, del z del y. But here how many variables are there? There are four variables. There are two independent variables, x and y. There are two dependent variables, u and v, which are dependent on x and y. So how many partial derivatives will be there? There will be four partial derivatives. One is del u del x, del u del y, del v del x, del v del y. So the Cauchy-Riemann equation states that del u del x will be equals to del v del y, and del u del y will be equals to minus del v del x. So the four partial derivatives that we can produce from here, if they follows this equality, then we say that these two equations are Cauchy-Riemann equations. Then by using the Cauchy-Riemann equation, we can actually define or get the concept of, or we can define the methodology or the way through which we could verify whether a given function is continuous or analytic or not. So here we are going to discuss what is the necessary and sufficient condition for a function to be analytic. So what is the necessary and sufficient condition? So already you have studied in the first year what is the necessary and sufficient condition. So we know that, say one statement is given as A, one statement given as B. So if whenever B holds, the A will hold, that is called as a sufficient condition. That means B implies A, that is called a sufficient condition. And if A implies B, that is called as a necessary condition. So if I combine both, this is called as the necessary and sufficient condition. So here, what is the necessary condition? So necessary condition, sufficient condition is that what are the criteria for which the function fz will be analytic. So the criteria are given, for that the function will be analytic, that is called as the sufficient condition. And what are the necessary conditions? We know that function fz is analytic, then what are the consequences of that, which called as the necessary condition. So here fz will be analytic. So if I consider the necessary condition, then fz is analytic, we know that. Then that will imply that the fz, the uv and xy corresponding to the function fz will satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation. So we have already assumed that fz is analytic. Then what is the necessary condition? The necessary condition is this four partial derivatives must satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation, and the four partial derivatives will be continuous in that particular domain where we are considering the analyticity. And what is the sufficient condition? The sufficient condition is that a function fz is given to us, we don't know whether it is analytic or not. Then if these two conditions are satisfied, that means if the four partial derivatives corresponding to that function satisfies the Cauchy-Riemann equation, as well as the four partial derivatives are continuous, then we can say that the function fz will be analytic. So this is the sufficient condition. I hope it is clear. So necessary condition means fz is analytic, assuming that the consequences, these two consequences will hold, that is called as a necessary condition. And if these two conditions are valid for a particular function fz, then reversely we can say that fz is analytic, that is called as a sufficient condition. So in the next lecture I will discuss a few problems through which we could verify whether a given function is analytic or not by virtue of these results that we have studied in that class. So that class what I have studied on that lecture. So I have studied what is the analytic function in a particular point, what is the analyticity of a function in a domain, and what is the analyticity in the function in the overall complex domain, that is the entire function. And we have studied some terms, that is the analyticity of a function in a point, in a domain, the holomorphic function, entire function. Then we have studied the Cauchy-Riemann equation. Then we have studied the necessary and sufficient condition for a function to be analytic. So thank you all for watching this lecture. So in the next lecture we will discuss different problems related to the analytic function.